that's something really, really deep that happened to me. Actually, my parents they're broken up. They're not together. I don't pray they go together. They go back together. But I remember I always thought about like, oh, I don't want the kind of relationship that whatever, I don't know what those people had. Was it a marriage? Was it a living together situation? I don't know what they had, but that's their cup of tea. I do not pray to, I don't pray for their example was not a good example of what I wanted. So they taught me all the things I don't want in my relationship. But there was a point in my life. I was speaking to somebody and I was telling them that, oh, my parents are not the example of the kind of marriage I want. And then he took me back and said, incorrect. He said, you learned what you didn't want in your marriage. Because if you do not know the bad, it's hard for you to recognize good.
Definitely. I love that.
I felt it.
Hey people, it's your girl Esther Ray, and this is Not Format Village People. I think perspective is actually a gift. It's a gift to have a different perspective to the other person you're having conversations with, and it just makes it all interesting, isn't it? So on this platform, we're going to share personal stories. Be open-minded, listen in, pick what you can pick from it. Do you understand? On different topics, because we're going to be talking about different topics, from friendship to marriages to life happenings to growing up to backgrounds to careers to businesses. So different people will be coming on this platform, and I'm looking forward to sharing my perspectives, my stories, and exciting informations just for you to learn from it. It won't be new things that you've not heard before, but I'm hoping this platform will serve as a kind of a reminder for you to connect back to that you need to connect to. Once again, it's Not Format Village People, guys. Thank you. Hello. It's your girl Esther Ray, and this is another episode of Not For My Village People. People, do you realize that this Not For My Village People thing is becoming a thing? Everybody I meet now at a party, at a get-together, amongst friends, there is at least 2, 3, 4, 5 statements that goes in the direction of Not For My Village People. It's crazy. It's becoming a hashtag. It's already a hashtag, but I feel like I have made it a proper hashtag at this point. Not For My Village People, guys. And I can't remember. I can't believe I'm actually in my 20s. I will continue to say this until I record the 100th episode on this platform, until 200 episodes. And I'll continue to say, I can't believe I've done 200 episodes. Anyways, guys, thank you again for listening, for tuning in, for waiting for this on Fridays, just to chill in, just to tune in, listening to it, because I see the numbers going. Honestly, the diagnostics or whatever they call it, our algorithms, everything is moving stuff, and I really appreciate you guys. Today we're continuing on our series, and I think this is going to be the last recording on this Who Did You Date episode. So I've had some emails come in, and I've had some responses to some questions surrounding who did you date. So today, it's going to be a mixture of everything, because I also have someone on the call today that she's going to be giving us some juicy details about some of our dating escapades. And I think she's got some really interesting stories. I don't even think I know those stories. So I am looking forward to smiling to who are in, that happened situation, just like you're going to be doing at the other side of my Blue Yeti microphone. So before we go in, as you know, we've got to do this. One of the quotes I saw online that I thought, this will resonate with me, especially with what we're talking about today. In its purest form, dating is auditioning for mating. And auditioning means we may or may not get the part. That's the true story of this sister that sent me this story. Now, the only thing about this is it's a relationship story of someone that were in their teens at the time. They're not married, but she was a teenager at this time, 16, 17. But I still think it's an interesting story. And we're going to talk about that. The lady I've got on the call today, we're going to talk about that. She's a girlfriend of mine. She's a good girlfriend of mine. When we talk about relationship, I feel like, oh, girl, you've been through it. You've been through it, sister. I feel like one of those stories we connected on was our dating experience. So I don't know what she's going to be sharing tonight, but it wasn't planned.
But she's on the other side of my Blue Yeti microphone now, and she's got to talk. She got to talk. All right, then I'll go into the story. So it reads, he was my first boyfriend. I was 16, 17, and I just got my GCSE results. About to start college, I didn't go as well as I would have liked to in my GCSE. So a GCSE didn't go as well as she would have liked. So it was really reassuring. Our boyfriend at the time was really reassuring. The boyfriend was 19, 20 at the time. And the way he reassured me just made me feel safe. Like it encouraged me to do better in A-level, basically. So for context, this was a time in my life where I was really into Christianity. What does that mean, by the way? What does it mean to be into Christianity? I don't get it. But she added some quotes. She said, I still am, but it's different now. So I don't know what Christianity you all be doing in your teens that is not particularly Christianity. I think there's a 2 verse to it, but let's go on. So we were both Bible believing Jesus babies. I love the Jesus babies part though. I love it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
loving it.
I know, right? I love it. Anyways, we were dating, but won't see very much, just a lot of texting and phone calls. So they were not seeing each other a lot. I can imagine 16, 17. Who were you dating at 16, 17? Was I dating? No, I was suffering. I wasn't dating. I was in an asylum camp. I wasn't dating.
You shouldn't laugh.
I wasn't dating.
About it
I don't even think I had the, did anybody see me then and was interested in me? No, maybe those very troublesome older uncles that you're supposed to be locked up in jail somewhere at my 16, 17, and they were probably in their 30s thinking, oh, this girl is covey. Oh, let's not even go into that. Let's not go into that this night. Let's just go into this lady's story. She said, then one day he asked to take me on a date. I was so excited. This was our second proper date. And all at this time, Nando's was still a big deal. Not much else was around. So Nando's, I don't know. People like Nando's. Do you like Nando's, Adeola?
I've got a story about that actually. I don't know if I to tell you about
Let's
that
come
now.
to it. No.
But I love Nando's. I do love Nando's.
I'm not a fan of Nando's. No,
I know you don't like Nando's.
Actually, in my house, we're not Nando's fan because I know a lot of colored folks in the UK on Sundays, most especially after church, they like to go to Nando's. I don't know why.
All about the Nando's chicken.
I will never understand.
Now.
I will never understand that stuff about Nando's. Anyways, so we went, and as we were eating, this man even got dessert. So our boyfriend then even got them dessert. Anyway, after he was like, oh, I want a wife, and she's just not you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me read that again.
Read that again.
We went to Nando's, and as we were eating, this boyfriend of hers even ordered dessert for the both of them.
Okay.
But then she said, anyways, afterwards, it was like, maybe when they finished eating the dessert, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Maybe they finished eating this Nando's chicken that I don't like with the peri-peri sauce that I do not like.
And that is amazing, by the way.
My perspective of Nando's. And she said they had a dessert. But this guy, after eating all of that, then said, I want a wife, and she's just not you. You see people why you need to stop eating Nando's. That must hurt like bad. He broke up with her right after they had the Nando's chicken and dessert. And he went on, he went on to say, you're a really great person, but we're just not compatible. Jesus Christ. That's some kind of Jesus baby right there. Ouch. I know, right?
Ouch.
And then she went on to say, in my mind, I was like, meaning what? I've already planned our wedding, our house, our children, my whole life as a housewife. Sister, you were just 16, 17. Go to school, read your books.
I was just thinking that, but I wanted you to land because I'm thinking, how old were they? But they're saying that though.
She was 16, 17, yeah? And he was 19, 20. You were like that as well? You were in love at 16, 17? Oh, guys, are you serious?
We'll get to that later.
We get to that. Okay. I wasn't, like I said before, I wasn't in love with anybody. I just wanted to get my life together and I wanted to find a meal for the next day. So going on, he said, here is where it gets interesting, right? So he broke up with me, but to be honest, I didn't break up with him. I was very much like, you are not going. But me, I will be in this relationship for the both of us. So she wanted to stay in the relationship for the both of them. So I carried on as normal in the relationship alone, basically continued communication. I just couldn't fathom not being with this person anymore. Now, as a psychotherapist, I have the language or understanding of what happened. Oh my God, how many people are in this situation right now? Or I've been in this situation where a guy or a lady is broken up with them, but because mentally they can't just accept it, they keep going in that relationship, but it's non-existent to the other party. That must really hurt. Just like me, just like my story that I told in the first Who Did You Date episode, where I was telling you guys about this guy had left me, gone ahead to get married to another person. And I was there cooling him, going through all the depression phases that you could ever go through. Anyways, let's go back to this lady's story. But at the time, I really did not understand or process that this person was breaking up with me. So it gets into another relationship. Then the girl apparently did not like our now friendship. It made her uncomfortable. So he got a new girl, and the girl didn't like how close she was with the guy. And she asked him to contact with me. It was on this day I realized the meaning of hot breakfast. Now, for my non-African people, if you don't know breakfast is when you're served the heartbreak story of, I no longer want to date you. Oh Lord, I feel so sorry for this 16, 17-year-old lady at the time. And then she went on to say the tears. I remember where I was, what I was wearing, and even the day it was a Sunday. I cried. Those tears came from the depth of my soul. So it was in that moment I realized, oh my goodness, that I no longer have a boyfriend. Oh, poor lady. What do you think about that story, Adeola? What do you
I'm
think?
getting upset on the behalf, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it for that 16-year-old, 16, 17-year-old. Because I can kind of relate to it a little bit.
Tell
My
us
first
about
proper
it.
boyfriend, it was similar. Yes, so my first proper boyfriend, yeah, I thought we're going to be together forever. And I don't want to generalize as we as women, but me anyways, and hearing this lady's story as well, this person's story, we plan stuff. Even as soon as we meet a guy that we like, we're planning wedding, we're planning the house we're going to be in and everything. And when we broke up as well, I was at university, and I remember crying all the way from London to Portsmouth on the train when we broke up. And I was just like, yeah, it was hard because it was good, and it was similar in the sense that we kind of just grew apart. We tried to make it work. I was staying in it for us. That's the thing. You want to hold it together. But yeah, now on reflection, and we tried the whole staying together as friends thing as well. It just didn't work. And it's not fair on the other parties as well, especially if they've moved on.
Yeah.
And it's not fair on you because you're holding on to something that's not there. But I can relate, and I sympathize with that 16, 17-year-old.
Honestly, because that takes me to the, what happened to you syndrome. Hopefully it doesn't affect our current life as an adult. I believe she's an adult now. I know she's an adult now. I actually know the person that sent me this email.
Okay.
And she's married. So hopefully, she got over it and then moved on into a happy married life situation. But I can just wrap my head. I can just think about what a dating experience was like after going through this at such tender age. Because even though I didn't start dating at 16, 17, I had some, high school crush, I had a boyfriend. I think we were boyfriend, girlfriend back in high school. I was very young at the time. So, we just had crush on each other. But, when I officially started dating, I think I was 18, actually. It was 18. I was 18. I did the European adult life stuff. Get your first boyfriend at 18. And that experience, I was adulting, sister.
These girls.
Oh my goodness, I was. That experience, my first dating experience, what it put me through affected my whole dating experience. So I can just imagine, even with a 16, 17, I was probably just 2 years older than her before I started dating, but how it might have just showed face throughout a dating experience, which takes me to my next question. Recently, I posted on the streets of social media this question: does your dating experiences determine what your standards are or what your standard is? And I got some interesting responses. Someone said to that question, well, for me personally, I think my standard shaped my dating experiences. It is very important to know who you are and what you want in your life. Having these standards will let you filter out the kind of man you want to spend time with and let into your circle. So when it comes to dating, it's more about how that person fits into your life more than how you fit into theirs. If you know what I mean. I think she was a very, very smart girl. I was too
I love
stupid.
that. I love that. That's the thing though, like now we're talking, I'm 36 now, and looking
Yeah.
back, I can say similar thing now, trying to date. You know who you are, you find yourself and everything. Thank God for Jesus and therapy. But my 16-year-old self did not know that. My 18-year-old self, she did not know who she was. Or I thought I knew who I was, but I didn't. But then, so it's like, how can you do that when you're that age?
Yeah.
And
Honestly.
what standard are you setting?
Yeah.
Are you looking at your parents?
Yeah.
You want to be like them or you don't want to be like them? That's another thing.
No, that
You want to be like them or you don't want to
don't
be
want to
like
be
them?
like, no, that's something really, really deep that happened to me. Actually, my parents they're broken up. They're not together. I don't pray they go together. They go back together. But I remember I always thought about like, oh, I don't want the kind of relationship that whatever. I don't know what those people had. Was it a marriage? Was it a living together situation? I don't know what they had.
Yeah.
Well, that's their cup of tea. I do
Yeah.
not pray to, I don't pray for their example was not a good example of what I wanted. So they taught me
You,
all the
sis.
things I don't want in my relationship. But there
In
was
your
a
marriage.
point in my life. I was speaking to somebody and I was telling them that, oh, my parents are not the example of the kind of marriage I want. And then it took me back. It said, incorrect. It said, you learned what you didn't want in your marriage. Because if you do not know the bad, it's hard for you to recognize good.
Definitely. I love that.
I
love
felt it.
that.
He said, there is a reason. We have the good, the bad, the ugly for a reason.
The ugly for a reason. It's just like with every season is for a reason. Rain, summer, winter, spring,
Honestly,
autumn. Everything is for a reason.
There's a purpose.
But then saying that though, one of the things that I've had to work through in therapy is, what does good look like? We know what bad looks like. We know what to avoid, but what does good look like?
Isn't it what an opposite?
Not necessarily. Because then it depends on your characteristics as well. Because what was bad for your parent might be good for you, if you know what I mean. We're getting into therapy session here. Because, for example, look at us. I'll share my experience. One of the things that my parents had was is the woman that cooks, and is the woman's responsibility to always do the cooking, regardless whether she does 40-hour shift or 70-hour shift, she still has to cook. And I'm like, okay, I don't want that. Men and women should be helpers to each other. But also, I do like cooking as well, so I don't mind cooking. But it's not like if it has to be mandated. So yes, I get what you mean. That is the opposite of it. But you need to think there might be certain things that might seem really bad in their relationship. Obviously, if abuse, we know that's bad, regardless. And nobody wants to be in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
But then is that going back to the old what happened to you, you tend to be attracted to what you know. So that was why I was saying that what does good look like?
Yeah. Now that's another thing. That's why we come.
I know that's another topic.
No, it's another topic because I know that's where we come to the daddy situation or what
issue.
Daddy issue. That they say you've got daddy issues because it's as a result of what what you're looking for. At some point I feel like I used to pray. Oh gosh. Oh bless my soul. I reject that prayer now because I used to pray. I told my dad once, I said, you're a father, but you're not a husband. He remarried. My father remarried. He's currently married to another person, but he's with his third wife. He's in his third marriage now. Unfortunately or fortunately for him. But I told him, you're not a husband, you're a father. And yeah,
that is deep.
Yeah. No, it's
That's
not for
deep.
today. We're going to,
It's not for today.
it's not
Yeah.
for today. Let's move on from that. Let's move on from that. But
Yeah.
this lady that responded to the standard question, talking about it's very important to know who you are and what you want in your life. I think she was really smart when she started dating. I don't know what age
I
she was
agree.
at when she started
Mm-hmm.
dating, because from reading that, I'm looking at a quote right in front of me now, and it says, "Ladies, know your worth. Don't
Yes,
ever come
definitely.
second in his life. When you're good enough to be first in someone else's life." I feel like that's what
Amen
she's
to that.
talking about here with the standard.
Yes,
You've got to know
definitely.
yourself.
Yes.
So when it comes to dating, it's more about how that person fits into your life more than how you fit into theirs. And you can only know how that person fit into your life more than how you fit into their life. That can only be important to you if you see yourself as first and not a second.
Definitely. But then again, I agree with that point. But what I'm thinking is we have to look at there are loads of other aspects that surrounds that, including
Mm.
culture expectation. I'm originally from Nigeria, from the Yoruba
Yeah.
tribe. There are certain expectation that you're to have.
Mm.
Or that I was kind of like that was passed on to me that you get into a relationship to be the wife has to do certain things, and I
Yeah.
challenge that, so
Mm.
yes, know your worth, know who you are, be first, definitely, but then in doing that there might be some, is it status quos, my
Yeah.
English, that you might have to fight and challenge
Mm.
as well. But it's very, very important. And we as parents as well, laying that foundation in our kids to know who they are and know that they don't need another male or female to complete them.
Yeah.
They are all on themselves,
Yeah.
which I feel like that was not passed on to me.
Mm.
That lesson was not taught. Through the grace of God, I've been able to discover that.
Yeah.
What is your standard?
Mm.
We need to start talking about that and then putting that into our kids as well and
Mm.
letting them discover who they are and
Mm.
embracing that as well.
No,
But that's very interesting, very, very
yeah.
valid points.
I really like that, because we're talking about who you are and who we are. It takes me to,
Yeah.
I have this book club for kids called
Okay.
DKT,
Yes.
Destiny Kids and Themes
Yes.
book club.
Yeah.
And this particular, I think, was it for our Saturday team, the DKT members on Saturday, the ones that come on Saturday. I gave them an assignment recently because one of the books we're currently reading is about Nelson Mandela. Who was Nelson Mandela? And part of the question that came out of that book is that, who are you? And despite the fact that they knew their names, they didn't really have a lot of things to say about who they were.
Exactly.
So I gave them the
Exactly.
task and then I asked them another question, like, okay, what do you
Mm.
like to do? What do you like doing? What are you good
Yes.
at? Because when
Yes.
you know who you are, part of who you are is also the things you're good at.
Yes.
When we talk about brag sheet, I know you've heard me talk about brag sheet at one point or the other,
Yeah.
brag sheets and things like that. When we talk about
Yeah.
those things, it's about what we're good at. So when people ask
Yeah.
you, who are you need to be able to say, I hope we're all saying good things about ourselves. I hope we're able to sell ourselves. But from now, we need to be able to put into our children for them to know who they are and be able to
100%.
say it. Because as Africans, for
Yeah.
some reason, we were all brought up in a way that we're supposed to be super humble, super duper
Yes.
humble. And
That was what I was going to say as well. And
go
it's
on.
not
Yeah.
rude for you to know who you are.
Mm.
It's not rude for you to say, I know I'm clever. I know I'm talented. I know
Yes.
I'm important.
Yes.
Me and my boys, we do the daily affirmation now. You're
Good.
cool. You're amazing. You're prosperous. You're wealthy. You're clever. You're smart. So now we've saying when Yanni says certain things, sometimes I'm like, if you don't know him and the things I do, it might come across as being arrogant, but it'd be like, oh, but I'm smart. I know that.
Yeah. That's a good thing
Because
to know.
he knows it's smart.
That's a good thing to know.
So even if it doesn't do as good as on his test, for example, it'll be like, okay, instead of focusing on that aspect, how can I get better for the next one?
That's it.
You don't question your worth because of
Solution
that.
mode.
Yes, you don't question your worth because of that. And the same, taking that back to relationship as well. I know I'm diverting it, but like the whole point of rejection is God's protection is so, so true. Because one of the things I wanted to share about relationship is that now when I look back at the relationship that has not worked, I thank God.
Ooh.
Yes, because I was like, what was I thinking?
Mm,
Because and it also goes back to knowing who you are. I did not
mm,
know who I was,
mm,
focus of what I wanted in a relationship. I had an idea of what I don't want it to be.
mm,
So I was going for the opposite of that. But what are the other things I really want
mm,
in the relationship? And how does that work? And do I
mm.
know me?
Yeah. Do you know you to set the standard,
Yeah.
like the other sister
To
said in
set the
that
standard.
particular
Yeah,
response? Yeah. Hmm.
definitely.
Takes
Yeah.
me to my next response. Yeah, there are a few people that responded, but I picked two just because of time. The second sister said, your standards. So the question we're talking about is, does your standard determine, what was the question again? Let me just
Does your dating experience determine
your
what your
standard.
standard
That's
is?
it. That's the question. And this other sister answered it. She said, your standards should actually determine your dating experience. If you don't have standards, you won't even be able to identify what is good for you or not. You must first know what you want and require from a person. It
Mm-hmm.
will sieve the dating pool and shape your expectations. One must first
Mm,
know who they are, just like we've
mm,
been saying,
yes. Yeah.
before knowing what they require. And I personally
Mm-hmm.
see standards as boundaries.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Hmm. If you say you want your
Mm,
dating experiences to shape your standards, it's like asking the world to define you.
I
I
feel that.
receive
I
that.
feel that. I feel
Rather
that.
than telling the
Yeah.
world who you are. So we're supposed to, it's very, look how we've brought it from, you should know who you are in order to date right.
Amen
Oh
to
my God.
that.
Someone just flogged me. Someone slapped me at my back. You're supposed to, I didn't know who I was. Now, I
Neither
don't
did I at that very young
I,
age.
I don't regret it. I got married very young. I don't regret it now, but oh, trust me, we've been through it. We've been through, whatever you can call it in back. We are
Mm-hmm.
learning. We are learning on walking on hot coals. Do you understand? That's what we do. No, that's what we're doing. I'm gonna
You're
just keep it real.
evolving. That's the
We
thing.
are
You're
evolving
evolving.
and we love it. No, we love it.
Yes.
That we're learning like this, but also, maybe we wouldn't have to work on hot coal. We might work on coal, but maybe it won't be hot if I had known myself and he knew himself. But we had to do the
Mm-hmm.
working on hot coal. But yeah, for those that are still looking to get into we gotta keep it real because everybody be looking at
Let's keep it real.
picture perfect now on Instagram and the streets of social media and be thinking, huh, I woke up like this. No, sisters, mister, I did not
Nope.
wake up like that. We did
Mm-mm.
not wake up like that.
Like Joyce Meyer always say, the grass might look greener on the other side, but remember, they still have to get a gardener. They still have to mow the lawn.
100%. 100%. We got
And
gardeners.
it's a continuous work.
We
Is it
got
hashtag working in
cleaners.
progress?
Oh, hashtag working.
Hashtag working in
Sister,
progress.
that's it. It's hashtag working in progress. But yeah, honestly, true. When it comes to relationship, who did you date and all of this stuff? Now, we've told a few stories on this series of who did you date. And I've got my girl here, like I've said. She's been giving us some nuggets all through. But now let's put the question to her. Lady Adeola, who did you date? Tell us. Let's hear from
To
you.
be fair though, now looking back, and I even remembered one of my aunties, she said to me, she was like, Adeola, you haven't dated. You need to date. I was like, Auntie, what do you mean? I haven't really dated. Not really. To be fair, I think I've only had like four. Pardon me?
What's dating to you?
See, I feel like dating is going out and getting to know somebody and just experimenting.
What is the
Whereas with me,
experimenting part? What's the experimenting part?
just to know whether you're compatible. The thing with me is like when I see somebody and we date, we go from that dating phase to relationship. So that's
Mm.
what I mean that I haven't really dated. I've had relationships. So
Oh.
we've been on a date. Apart from that's why I wanted to tell you a funny story when you were sharing the Nando story. Date, actually, yeah. Actually, now thinking back, yeah, the fourth one was the guy that took me on to Nando's. It was so funny. I'll share the story. I got on the bus. I think I was going to work or coming back from college or something like that. And the guy came and was quoting Proverbs. So me being a church girl, pastor's daughter, think, this guy is good and everything. I was like, okay, quote, he knows the Bible and everything.
Yeah.
I gave him my number. That was another thing. I never used to give guys my number. When they asked my name,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I used to tell them it was Summer. So I never used to tell them it was Adeola. So my pickup name and when they chat me up was Summer. So it was like, hi, Summer, I like your name. You look like Summer. Da, 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 da. I was like, yeah.
You look
So
like
fast forward
summer.
now. We went to Nando's and this guy was just like proper like, oh, I like you. You're so lovely. You're this, you're that. Quoting the Bible. And then I was just something was just not sitting right with me. And then he said something. It was like, you're my last bus stop. I was like, mate, the bus route has been extended. Fa, fa, fa. It doesn't stop.
You're my last bus stop, but the bus
On the
route has
first
been
date.
extended.
On the first date. It was like, you're my last bus stop. Is love at first sight. I was like, nah, mate, nah. Just something just not was not feeling right. So that's my funny Nando story. And I didn't really finish the food then and brought a bottle of wine. Me that I don't drink. And it was like, what are you gonna do with this wine? And it got angry, the fact that I wasn't drinking. I was like, take the bottle now. What is my own?
Nah, Rob. No, whatever is listening to this now, please can you stop taking the ladies them to Nando's for a
But I was
day?
young though. I was young.
All right,
So I
okay.
was like, I think I was like 17 or 18.
Like, what you
Yeah, I think I
guys
was 17.
teenagers doing at Nando's going on anyways,
That
obviously
was the
what you can
posh
afford.
place for us
I could
then.
not
It
even
was an
afford
upgrade from
Nan, let
KFC.
alone Nando's. I could not afford a Nan, let alone Nando's. So
Exactly. At least it didn't take me to Wimpy's. Wimpy's Burgers. That was another big one.
that's another one. Oh, all right. Interesting. You guys had a lot, you just rich kids, yeah? I didn't know what whoopies was. Anyways, no. But yeah, so this mister wanted you to be the last bus stop, but you decided to extend your bus
I know.
route.
I told him that his bus route has been extended. Me, I'm not his last bus stop. His own bus route has been extended. That I was like, this one is just on the way to your junction, to your last bus stop.
Interesting in it. But yeah, right now, are you in a relationship?
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
Cool. Because you said earlier, you said about dating that you've not really dated because everything has moved into relationship. How did that really happen though? So you meet the guy and just from one meal and you guys are in a relationship. How does that work?
So yeah, more or less, I'm more of a talker. So instead of going on a date, we just talk and talk. And if I feel like there's a connection with that person
And that's it.
and they ask me out, so I had standard that I used to like fill criteria.
Hmm.
Let's keep it real, right? This is not for my village
Of
people.
course.
And when you get into it, because I was married, I was actually married for nearly 10 years. Unfortunately, passed away. But before he passed away, we were just about at the start of a separation.
Hmm.
But even that, I met him at my brother's wedding. It was, oh, I like you. You look nice. I was, oh, thank you. He likes me. And we just started talking, 1 or 2 dates, and then moved into relationship. We were there, we were together, got married, we eloped. There's another story. Yeah, that was how it kind of happened. And then when you get into that relationship, that was what I was saying, through the grace of God and therapy as well, because I had therapy after. It was, yes, was bad for you, but do you know your own standard and your worth and what good looks like?
Hmm.
Because you haven't really had that example of good. You've had the example of bad, but you haven't really had the example and experience of good. So yeah, it's mainly been like that, interestingly.
While you were telling that story, it took me to when it comes to the standard thing.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. This is opportunity. I'm using this opportunity, like those Christmas shout out they do on TV back in the day. I'm using this
Let's do
opportunity to
it.
do a shout out to everybody I dated, apart from my husband. Guys, I really dated you guys because I was looking for love. I lacked it. I didn't really have it. I didn't have a family with me. I
Yeah.
didn't have a support system. I just needed anybody that smiled at me. Then even if it was a lady, I would have probably dated them.
But let's keep it real. Is that
No,
you're looking for
seriously,
that
it
thing
was a
that you're
dog.
missing?
I would have dated whoever that showed a tiny little bit of
Yes.
what I thought was love
Was love.
back in the
So
day.
is what you're looking for. And that was what I'm saying, that you know what bad looks like,
Yeah.
but do you know what good looks like for you? And also, are you all?
Ooh.
Have you found you? Because what I was looking for was a man to complete Adeola, that Adeola needs a man. Even now, I've still had some people, even as of yesterday, with me and one of my sister friend was talking. She's like, why are you not dating? Well, I was like, I'm just at a phase. I'm okay as I am at the moment. I'm finding me. I still feel like I'm discovering myself and I'm just not ready yet. And that's okay with me. Whereas before, it wasn't okay with me. I felt like I needed to be dating somebody or be in a relationship to be all, to be Adeola. Whereas you don't. One of my favorite preacher, Bishop T.D. Jakes, is enjoy the season you're in and understand the purpose, the why of that season, not the what. Yes, he has his challenges being a single parent, but why is God taking me through this? I know we're diverting a little bit. So I'm trying to still discover me. I'm still #working in progress. And also is when you know who you are, you know your standard, you will not just go for anyone.
That's it. But you've got to know that first, innit? You've got to know who you are first before
You need to know.
have a standard.
Yes. And you don't need a man or woman, or a man or woman should not complete you. There's this Bible verse that I love that is iron sharpens iron. You guys should be a complement of each other, not necessarily like, oh, I need you to fill this void. That void needs to be filled first before you invite somebody else in. We all have baggages, but how are you dealing with your own baggage before I bring mine to it? Do you expect me to carry your baggage? No, sir. I'm not doing that. Yes, we'll support each other. We will grow together. We'll sharpen each other. But this is just me personally. And this was some of talking about the dating experience. Like I said, I didn't really do dating much apart from that Mr. Nando's last bus stop and maybe one other. But dating has kind of led into relationship because I felt like there was something missing. Just like you shared that you were looking for love. I was similar, looking for love, looking for home. I was looking for home. Yeah.
That's something that's really, really deep. You talked about, when we say standards now, you said, I feel like that's a level of standard as well. When you talk about you solve yourself first, whatever baggage you carry, I don't want to carry your baggage with you. I've been there, done that, seen it all.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You go get healing. Find healing first. And
Find healing first.
When you heal, then you can come back to me and let's see where we get to with that.
Yeah, because what happens when you're not healed is that you bleed on people that haven't hurt you, if you know what I mean, if that's proper sentence. You tend to bleed on people that haven't hurt you.
Where does emotional intelligence come in then?
That's an interesting one. It comes from knowing as well, like, is this person compatible for me? And I guess that goes with the old dating thing, that you need to actually be open to dating different people just to see. That's what I meant by dating is an experiment.
Dating is an experiment to test the waters, and we don't really do that. I don't feel like, I don't know about others, but I feel like my circle of friends and people that I know and have had the opportunity to have conversations, and like we talk about all the time in the book club that we're in. By the way, Adeola is one of my book club members, book port for the adults, for the kids. And we talk about, I feel like we talk every now and again when we read one book or the other, especially on relationships, we tend to talk about this relationship stuff. Now, whenever you are, whatever you do when it comes to putting yourself out there, healing in a particular standard as well, are you giving out what you expect to be taken in? And you said it now, you talked about, you're dating yourself. I feel like last week, the person I had on, for those of you that are yet to listen to episode 21, please go listen to it. It was an anonymous recording, but she mentioned as well that she's currently dating herself. And Adeola said the same thing, like, like she's all for herself now because she's looking to complete herself. But I'm just a little turned in between the standard thing of, if you're now looking, because there was a period where what goes on ladies' list is the tall, dark and handsome, rich, smart, whatever the case is. I think we've gone past that fever time now. And everybody's looking for purpose and looking for future, looking for togetherness, not, because we now know that don't judge the book by the cover. And that goes both ways. The judging the book by the cover can be negative or positive. If you judge a beautiful looking book, thinking the content of it will be good, you're mistaken. And an ugly looking book might be the one with the best lessons learned information in them. So don't judge the book by the cover. So now we're looking for something actual, but are we not over filtering? It's like you've got a data and then you filter this, you filter that, you filter. At the end of the day, the last picture you get after filtering everything is you don't even understand the data anymore.
It's distorted. Yes. I hear you.
When you say about this man has got to be healed, he can't come with baggage. Are there people like that walking around?
No,
now, maybe
that's
this is
why
my broken self talking. I'm sorry. Maybe this is my healing.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. And going back, just before I touched up on that, I wanted to go back to what you asked earlier with regards to emotional intelligence. It's about being able to express, to me, emotional intelligence is about being able to express how you feel and understand how other people feel and being able to express that in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Can we talk about emotion? I was not able to clearly talk about my emotion or the way I'm feeling or express myself. Nobody's perfect. And, one of my hashtag is hashtag working in progress. We're all hashtag working in progress. But at that stage we're in, do we see ourselves progressing together? Yes. Now we're looking for purpose, but bearing in mind, I still got my list. I've still got a list. It's probably like a filter list, but be open as well. Like you said, I am still open, Mr. Right can walk in tonight, tomorrow. I am still willing to have that conversation. I'm not saying, oh, I'm loving me and I'm not dating or open. No, still be open. But it all goes back to healing you still need that continuous work on you. Well, me personally, that's the way I feel. I'm still doing that continuous working on me. I've had to go back to therapy again. I'm doing CBT at the moment, which is cognitive behavior therapy. And it's really, really helping. And we're digging into like emotions and how to look at things from a different perspective as well. That's been my hashtag as well for the last, for this current season, is all about perspective. So when we're talking about dating, yes, be open, test the waters, but know who you are and keep working on yourself to ensure that when you bring somebody else in, you complement each other, as opposed to you need them to fill a gap or a void in you.
All right.
Because it's like nobody can feel that apart from you. It's like nobody can tell you that you're beautiful, you're amazing, apart from if you believe in that. So it's like that self-loving. Even when you're in a relationship, you still need to love yourself. You still need to. When you're dating.
You definitely do. You definitely do. My goodness. Thank you so much for this very unplanned episode of Not For My Village People. It's a great way to round up this series of Who Did You Date? And I really, really do appreciate it. And to round it all up for today, I'm looking at a few quotes on there that I feel like, we can take away and think about it. Real relationship doesn't mean no fights. We fight, but after that, we forgive each other and start loving each other again. I feel like all that is missing on that particular quote is the picture of myself and my husband.
And that's the thing with life generally as well, is like you would need to learn to forgive and forget and like perspective. Look at things from different perspective. There's another quick quote that I was saying, and talking about relationship is for me, what that resonate with me is that don't rush into a relationship. Focus on developing yourself first. Feel yourself, experience yourself, and love yourself.
100%.
100%. And you soon attract special love in others.
100%.
Because I believe in the law of attraction. You take what you give out. So if you're oozing with love, if you're oozing with confidence, naturally you will attract people that are loving, that confidence as well. It doesn't mean that they've got everything together, because we are all still working in progress. We will still fight. Like the Yoruba people will say, the tongue and the teeth, they fight each other. You know that saying? We'll learn to forgive, like you said with that quote, and start loving each other again. But you need to love yourself first.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I agree. 100%. You need to love yourself first. Thank you so much once again, Adeola, for jumping on this. Again, not planned episode. Again, guys, sisters, misters, this is not for my village people. And like I said before, we're rounding up the Who Did You Date episode or series. Now, if you do have any questions, anything you want to share, anything you want me to bring onto the platform, do not hesitate to send me an email, send us a DM on Instagram. Your girl is now on Instagram, Not For My Village People on Instagram, I think _podcast on Instagram, and our email address is notformyvillagepeople@gmail.com. Again, once again, it's your girl Esther A, and thank you for all the love. I appreciate you all, and have a great day, afternoon, or evening whenever you're listening to this. Bye for now. Thank you.